Welcome to Inspiring People, the show about inspiring people, those who are inspired and those who inspire others. We all know them. They're good examples, they're supportive, they embrace life, they live inspiring lives in their day-to-day actions, and in turn, inspire others to do the same. Hi, welcome to Inspiring People. My name is Mary Otto. I'm the host of the show, and with me today for part 2 of an interview is Orlo Gilbert. Welcome back, Orlo.
Thank you.
And his guest who is joining us, and that is Rhonda Burnham. Welcome back, Rhonda.
Thank you.
For those of you who maybe weren't able to see the first show, the first part of this interview, we're going to pick up with Orlo's love of cars and what he is doing with those cars. What we would, at the end of the last show, we just were able to find out some of the cars, some of his stars, and now we're going to ask him to finish on that a little bit. So let's talk a little bit more about, did you mention that there's an antique car club, or is there one in this area?
Right. Our antique car club here in Detroit Lakes is called the 412 Lakes chapter of the Antique Automobile Club of America. We're one of the chapters in the huge. The AACA National has over 60,000 members. And we've got about, husbands and wives, we've got around 60 members in our club.
Okay.
And there's about 5 or 6 of us that are active in the restoration of cars, and others just enjoy having cars and buying cars that they enjoy and driving. But my current project is a 1914 Willys Overland, which is the grandfather of the Jeep.
Oh.
See, that's the same company that created the Willys Jeep. And this car was owned by my great-grandfather, and I was going to buy a 30s vintage Ford, and my wife said, "No, don't do that. Restore that Overland." Now I've got the kitchen pass. I said, "You know, this is going to cost." So all is well, and that's on its way. Things are happening. It's going to be about a 2-3 year project.
Okay. And that's something you just leave here and work on it in the summers, or you
work on it all year long. I have a heated garage.
Oh, okay. I don't want to let that work stay.
No, it never stops.
I'd like to tell the viewers that my relationship with Orlo began when I met him through community theater here in Detroit Lakes, Playhouse 412. I believe that's when we first met. And with his music background and so on, he was willing to share with us his talents on a couple of the productions. So for those people who may have seen the productions or remember you from your artistic resume, why don't you tell us a little bit about your involvement in the theater and the music community here in Detroit Lakes?
You know, I don't know how I got involved in it, actually, except I think I played violin with one of the shows, and then somebody suggested I direct it, I guess. That
could have been me. But if that praise or if that recognition goes to somebody else, please call me and let me know, but I think it could be me. Okay.
And so we did that for several summers, and we had a good time with it. I really enjoyed it. But it got to be, the resort business got bigger and more involved, and I really couldn't take the time out to do it. So it was a very meaningful experience, and I'm glad we did it.
Well, and in those days we had huge summer productions and on stage at the what's now the middle school, and so we were always pleased and felt privileged to have musicians such as yourself come in and help us in the community.
We had some good pit orchestra players,
We did have
too.
wonderful pit orchestras, yes indeed. Okay, let's go back to your teaching career. And Rhonda, tell me a little bit about Orlo as a teacher.
Oh boy.
Oh, this is good.
Okay.
Orlo really made you work.
Okay, and can you give an example? Oh, you're going to give an example?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I remember one time I thought that I had practiced really well, really good, and I went to my lesson and he said, "You have not done what I told you to do. You have not done it as many times as I said." And
is that kind of how he said it, Ron?
I don't remember
exactly.
Okay. I just remember.
But emphatically, right?
Yes, and I remember being mad at him.
Okay.
Because he didn't believe me, and I thought I had done all this work. So I took a sheet of paper, and the very next day I put hash marks for every time I did the section that he had told me I had to do 60 times. And not only 60 times for the week, but that day. And then I stuck it on his music stand in his office. And he saw it the first thing when he came in to work the next morning.
All right, so why did we bring you along?
Well, and the wonderful thing is that the way he taught me, I've been able to use those examples with my own students. He cut my fingernails when I was in high school because I wouldn't cut them.
Oh, boy.
And he used ugly scissors. So my
Bad
students,
scissors, Evan.
yeah, and so my students now, when I cut their fingernails, I tell them how lucky they are that I do such a nice job with nice fingernail clippers because it could have been ugly scissors. So then they kind of cooperate after that.
Aren't you glad that we opened this up to,
Oh,
to
no,
her?
this was not good.
No, but really his attention to details is what produced his good orchestras and the finesse and the polish that he did with the performances with just students. And most of them weren't music majors. They were just kids who loved music and really enjoyed spending time with him as a person. Because his antique cars were even going then. You know, as a kid, I was riding in his cars around the town for parades and stuff and, polishing off, don't step on that board there,
Well, great. That's, see, it's good to have that other side of you come through in this, that
It is it?
It is, it definitely is. Let's talk about you, the resort owner. How long have you have you owned the resort?
We owned it for 24 years.
Okay.
And sold it about, 5 years ago.
Oh, all right.
We'd both my wife and I had it. We were tired of it, and things just weren't. It was time to give it up, and it was family property. So I thought it was sacred ground. Since I'm not the family member, I thought we can't sell this. And one day I said to my wife, "Is there any chance of selling this resort?" "Oh," she said, "I've been waiting for you to say that." I said, "Well, I thought I wasn't supposed to talk about it." "Oh," she said, "let's get rid of it quick."
Now, and when you mean get rid of it quick, it was just time for you to go on.
We needed to do something else. We needed to have the summers free to spend time with our grandchildren, our family, and you're so tied down to a resort. I loved the resort. I loved the work. I loved the people. It was nice, but it's time to give it up.
Sure. And so you still have that. You still come back to the area. Do you stay at the resort, or you have your own cabin out on the?
We have our own house.
Oh,
so
you have your own house out there.
Yeah,
okay.
we built a home there. So.
Okay. Well, we are certainly glad that you've continued to have your relationship with Detroit Lakes and some of the fine people who live and work here. And I want to second what Rhonda said. All of the times that I've been able to work with you have been just a real privilege for me. I think you are the consummate professional, and at least that side of you I see. You're probably a lot of fun too, and in your private life and so on, but you truly are an inspiring people. And when you think of Rhonda and the number of students that you've inspired over the years, you should be really proud of that. So thank you so much for being on the show. And Rhonda, thank you for coming along with and making sure that, his humility was, you gave him a boost, okay?
Yeah.
So, and do you want to, you had mentioned something about the car that you're restoring. When and how would the general public ever get to see that car?
Oh, it'll be out. We'll take it to all the national shows and local shows. And when it goes through all that, then we're going to tour. My wife and I are going to tour with it.
Okay.
And so we'll drive put a lot of miles on that car when it's done.
Okay, and maybe up and down the city beach a little bit.
Oh, you'll see it.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you again, Orlo and Rhonda, for being on the show.
Thank you.